Hello and welcome back to Food with Life. I am your host Chapatti and we're here at Renew You in Los Angeles, California with our wonderful guest, Mr. John Gray. We were talking a little bit about withdrawing, before about the men going into the cave and then coming out.
That's one of the most positive responses I got on the book Men Are From Mars. Women come up to me still 20 years later. Thank you so much for teaching me about the cave. Because what I explain is that men have a greater tendency at the end of the day to want to withdraw and pull into themselves. And literally, women go, what just happened? I thought we were in this marriage. And he's like, he doesn't even see me. And it's a tendency that men have to recover from stress. And we've done research on this, and what we've seen is that when men basically forget the work, they're able to rebuild their testosterone. That's part of the whole thing of rebuilding testosterone. If you're thinking about problems, then a man's going to be solving them in his head or taking action. That's using up testosterone. But by the end of the day, he literally can use up all his testosterone. And he needs to rebuild. Right. So the brain has a switch for a man to turn off the brain so he can sort of relax. And when he's sitting, basically his body is rebuilding testosterone. Right. Now women, they don't need to rebuild testosterone, generally speaking. Right. Men have to have higher levels of it. So she doesn't have a reference point. Right. What she has, what the men don't understand, is for women, they have an emotional response to things that most men don't. Because when a woman can talk about anything which is causing frustration, disappointment, or her concerns, when she can talk about those things, it releases the hormone oxytocin that allows her to lower her stress, and if somebody's listening to her, it rebuilds her oxytocin. Right. So women will often at the end of the day want to talk and share, and a guy wants to withdraw, no talking. And so that can create a huge conflict unless we understand it in a positive way.
So that's interesting when you say someone's listening to her rather than not listening to her.
Yeah, that's why women's biggest complaint is men don't listen.
But it's the oxytocin which is produced. If someone's not listening to her, is it produced?
No.
Right. But so there's something going on between her and this other person.
Relationship
Which makes that produced.
Yeah. It's when women feel like they care about you, when they're doing things for others, it releases the oxytocin and lowers their stress, but then they run out of oxytocin. They have to feel somebody cares about them. So it's in the sharing of what's inside. It's literally a form of being vulnerable and opening up. And if you're attentive, your interest and caring comes in, and she goes, oh, I'm not alone. And it's a paradox for men, because how can she feel better? She just talked about 10 problems and we didn't do anything to solve them. It just seems like, why are we wasting time?
Right.
But by understanding women in this new light, men can go, okay, I have to remind yourself, right, what she needs to do is just talk about this. I don't have to say anything. I don't need to tell her she's wrong. I don't need to talk her out of this. This is her process. Let me be compassionate.
Yeah, I think that's critical, the word understanding. When that lady, when your wife or girlfriend or your just a work associate has that connection with you, or someone that they're in association with, it completely stimulates them.
See, when a man goes, I want to understand that why, so I can do something about it. For men, everything's about doing something about it. But for a woman, just understanding her softens her mood, makes her feel better, makes her feel she's not alone, releases this hormone. And the irony here is, in understanding brings empathy. Right. Empathy is the real critical thing. And men don't have a concept of empathy, because when we're listening to her, we think to empathize with her means I have to agree with her. Right. It doesn't mean agreement. Right. Agreement is left brain. Empathy is right brain. Yeah. So what you do is you try to put yourself in her shoes. Mm-hmm. You try to imagine, if I thought the way she did, if I had the hormone system that she has, if I was designed the way she was, I would feel the same way. Right. That's empathy. Right. But until men understand how women are different and how their experience of life is different and how they see the world differently, how they're designed differently, you can't really have empathy.
Yes, yes. How would you put the word appreciation here? Where would you put that?
Well, one of my books is called Work With Me, and in that book we did a big survey of 100,000 men and women. And the number one complaint women had is they didn't feel appreciated in the workplace. Right. And of course the guys are going, of course we appreciate the women. 90% of men said we appreciate women. More than half of the women said I don't feel appreciated at all. Right. And you go, why? So this is where men don't know how to communicate appreciation to women, and women don't know how to communicate appreciation to men. Here's a test any woman can do and just see the power of appreciation with her husband or boyfriend. When he's talking, when he pauses, instead of saying anything, just say, huh, that makes sense. Watch how he'll puff up and go, what did I say? The next one is, good idea. and love it, and love it. Another one is, you're right. Those things build testosterone in men. Now, turn it around. A woman is doing something, may I help you? Oh, tell me more. I really want to understand this. I need to understand it more. Tell me more. These kind of messages to draw her in that say, I see you, I'm available to you. That's what rebuilds the oxytocin in women.
That's wonderful. We're going to take a break and say thank you.
Real pleasure.
But
Real
we
pleasure.
will see you again.
Okay.
And I'm so blessed to have you, and our honor, Mr. John Gray, wonderful author of Men Are From Mars, Women From Venus. There's a wonderful website, marsvenus.com. And we thank you very much for watching Food with Life. We'll see you very soon. Have a nice day, a nice evening, and enjoy. Thank you. Bye-bye.